All right, y'all. Oklahoma MAGA voters snap as politicians destroy economy. That's crazy. Before we get started, I need y'all to
hype me up. Hype me up.
Do that for your boy. It's the beginning of the week, man.
Today, I was let go from my job that I've had for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Because of this TikTok account.
Ooh.
I guess this is what you guys wanted. But I'm not waving no white flag. Just like Trump, I don't give up. I'm going to continue saying whatever the hell I believe. And Brian's Construction LLC, I will be seeing you in court.
And the crazy thing is, the things that y'all believe usually is fucked up. Usually comes with main dish of bigotry and side dishes of hate and all of that kind of stuff, man.
Big beautiful bill Medicaid cuts. I'm for it because I'm an able-bodied American citizen right now. I'm headed to work. I work at least 40 hours a week. People need to stop just getting free benefits. If you can go to work, you need to go to work because we're tired of paying for everybody. Mm-hmm. So Medicaid cuts, we're here for it.
Oh, wow.
Here's my mother-in-law. She worked 40 hours a week, too, at the same company for 32 years.
Wow.
And she was union. And then she got brain tumors and she lost her health insurance because if you're not working, you're going to lose your health insurance. And then Medicaid and Medicare kick in. Every single person is one tragedy away from having to be on Medicaid and Medicare. You're one brain tumor, one car accident. And for you specifically, looking at you, I can tell you're one heart attack away from needing Medicaid and Medicare. Now, I know that you think everybody that's on them is lazy illegals, but guess what? One day, you're going to need it and you're not going to have it. And it's not you that's paying everything. It's people like me, the younger generation, that are paying for that for you, for her. Now, thank God that she had successful children that can subsidize her way of life because Medicare and Medicaid, it don't cover it all. You're going to be in poverty forever and you're going to lose your house. You're going to lose your home. You're going to lose everything that you ever worked for and you're going to have to move in with your kids. So I hope that you have fucking rich kids because you just made that little tiny entitlement that you're going to need.
He going ham,
smaller.
y'all.
I would like people like you to think of the future. You're going to need it. For you, it's probably going to be a couple years, all right? Because I could tell you've probably been eating butter and fried chicken for the last 20 years.
Well, we heard a lot of biblical reasoning as to why students with disabilities should be subjected to corporal punishment while at school. But it wasn't enough to dissuade senators from passing it.
A common theme.
Proverbs 13:24, whoever spares the rod hates their child, but he who loves them disciplines them.
He also said that if you'd harm one of these little ones, you'd be better off to have a stone cast around your neck and thrown into the water.
Religion.
Ooh.
Christianity drove the conversation.
Hey, bro, you know what's crazy? A lot of these people like to cherry pick verses out of the Bible that, fit their narrative. But if you know the Bible, then you can also throw another scripture at them that discredits that scripture, which is a conversation for a whole nother day. But we literally just seen it happen. He said, spare the rod, spare the child. But then he brought up that verse that says, well, they also say if you touch a child, you be better off getting stoned. There you go.
Tuesday morning as the Senate discussed whether it should be permissible to spank students with disabilities. Disabilities referring but not limited to autism, hearing impaired, intellectual disability, and blindness.
Are children who are differently abled capable of misbehaving?
What might seem totally capable of one child is totally incapable of another.
Currently, there is no law regulating corporal punishment in schools. The State Department of Education does enforce an administrative rule prohibiting it, but as provided by OSDE to News 4 in September, 43 school districts use corporal punishment on students with disabilities during the 2021-2022 school year, all with the permission of legal guardians.
Hitting, slapping, paddling, or any other means of inflicting physical pain have no place in our educational system.
Hey, when I was a kid, they used to bust ass. I'm not going to hold you, bro. And then, when you go home and your parents find out that you got your ass bust at school, real ones who know, let me know in the comment what happened. What did your parents do after they found out the teacher popped you at school? I'm going to give you a hint. you got pop times 2. That's all I'm gonna say, bro. Real talk. That's how it was back then. In New Orleans, they got a school called St. Augustine, man, and they paddle the shit out you over there. I don't know if they still do it, but it was as recent as 5-10 years ago. That's for damn sure.
That's one of the things that we feel like we've got to get a handle on in our school systems, is the fact that we need to give those teachers or educators help in the area of discipline. Or should I correct myself and say the lack of discipline?
Even with the constant back and forth,
I declare House Bill 1028 to have passed.
Hey, but I will say this, though. When I was a kid and I was getting paddled and popped and all that kind of stuff, that didn't make me a better student. It didn't make me more well-behaved. All it did was cause me to figure out how not to get caught next time for doing anything, because I didn't want to get the whooping. I was a kid who got whooped all the time. From neighbors, from family, school, you name it. I was a bad child, bro. I used to just be mischievous, but none of them whoopings ever made me stop being bad. Never. What made me stop being bad is having to really learn right from wrong and having things taken away from me. I can't go outside. I'll take an ass whooping before you punish me and say I can't go play with my friends. Give me the ass whooping. That shit just gonna hurt for a little while. I said all that to say this. Beatings and all that kind of stuff, that is not the end all be all when it comes to disciplined children.
School year, Oklahoma teens statewide will have something new in their social studies curriculums, a section on President Trump's first term with a lesson centered on the 2020 election, where students will be asked to, quote, identify discrepancies in 2020 elections and the results by looking at graphs and other information, including the sudden halting of ballot counting in select cities in key battleground states, the security risks of mail-in balloting, sudden batch dumps, an unforeseen record number of voters, and the unprecedented contradiction of bellwether county trends. That right there is despite overwhelming evidence that there were no significant irregularities in the 2020 election results.
They just be making up excuses, dog. Whatever they got to do to win, whatever they got to do to make themselves out to be the victims. The big bad Democrats, this, that, and the third, they're rigging elections, man. Bro, just hold your L, dog. Big old crybabies.
That's news right now. Oklahoma Republican lawmakers have introduced legislation that would require every single college and university in the state of Oklahoma to construct a, quote, Charlie Kirk Memorial Plaza. The Memorial Plaza must also contain a statue of Charlie Kirk. The bill calls Kirk a, quote, modern-day civil rights leader. And if universities or these schools refuse to construct this Memorial Plaza in honor of Kirk, then they can pay monthly fines to the state of Oklahoma. Remember, Oklahoma is last in the country in terms of education right now. The memorial statue must be built in a, quote, prominent area on the main campus of every single college and institution in the state of Oklahoma. If this passes, it was sponsored by 2 Republican state senators, and it must include a statue of Charlie Kirk either sitting at a table with an empty seat across from him or one of Kirk and his wife holding their children. All designs must be approved by the Oklahoma State Legislature. They also must include permanent signage commemorating Charlie Kirk's courage and faith. Yes. Spread the word. Follow along for more. Subscribe to my Substack. The link in my bio to support my work.
No, that's ridiculous, dog. I can't believe what I just heard. Hey, bro, they want a statue of this man. Who was he? What did he do for people? How did he make people's lives better? How did he enrich communities? What did he do? Like, come on, man, let's be fucking for real. Besides pick up a microphone, what did he do? And debate kids at what he deemed to be liberal indoctrination camps. Like, come on, bro, what did he do for real? To deserve, they just doing that shit to spite minorities, bro. That's all it is.
It's time to speak up. ICE is now removing undocumented foster children from their foster homes.
Oh, wow.
Removing foster children from their foster homes for deportation. Y'all, I've been working in the foster care system for 28 years. I'm a former foster mom, and I adopted 4 children from foster care and fostered many others.
Respect.
And I have represented hundreds of children who are in foster care. And one thing all of these children have in common is they have all been through trauma to one degree or another. Mm-hmm. We are taking children who have already been through trauma and removing them from foster homes for deportation. There will be a reckoning for this in this life or the next.
Hey, bro, ain't nothing scarier. Ain't nothing more frightening than a pissed off white lady, bro. I'm telling you, dog, get your ass in trouble. She mad about this, dog. Hey, at the end of the day, though, man, these kids, dog, they're already in the care of a foster home, a family, and all that kind of stuff, right? Undocumented or documented, whatever. At this point, bro, they're under the tutelage of a family who I would assume is from America, though. I think in that situation, you might be able to just let them slide because the kids are innocent. They ain't really do nothing. Now, a lot of people may disagree with that take, but I'm just saying, no harm, no foul. The kid really didn't do nothing. And I know some staunch people going to be like, man, well, they illegal. That's what they did. That's what they, man, bro, how them kids hurting you? What are them kids doing that affects you, bro? Like, let's be for real. If your life sucks, I promise you, it has nothing to do with those little kids. It got everything to do with you and your lack of being able to make sound decisions as an adult. That's what that is, sir.
For those of you who are supporting this, there will be a reckoning for this in this life or the next. And for those of you who are sitting silently by while these atrocities are unfolding before our eyes, there will be a reckoning. Go love your neighbor.
States in the entire country voted unanimously across every county for the same presidential candidate. Trump won all the counties in Oklahoma. And
before he even get into what he's gonna get into, man, if you do a side-by-side comparison of red states versus blue states, red cities versus blue cities, you can even do blue cities within red states. And you could do red cities within blue states. And you'll see that blue beats them in almost every educational metric possible, for the most part. Will you find some outliers? I'm sure you will. But by and large, blue is smarter than red.
Harris won all the counties in Massachusetts. And when you compare these states side by side, you really start to wonder why people aren't voting for Democrats. The all-Trump state of Oklahoma is 44th in education, 49th in healthcare, 44th in quality of life, and dead last 50th in test scores. And when you look at Massachusetts, they are first in education, second in healthcare, first in quality of life, and first in test scores.
Massachusetts is just a smart state for the most part. You know, that's where a lot of famous schools are. I want to say MIT is in Massachusetts. Isn't Harvard in Massachusetts? And I think their educational system is just like top tier when it comes to American education, because, you know, American education is bottom tier. It ain't us. We're not a smart country for the most part. Let's just bro, it is what it is. When you compare us to any Asian countries, we get blown out of the water when it comes to math and science. We just literacy rates, we're not where we should be, being the richest country.
Kind of hard to argue for Oklahoma.
That was the story.
Here. And it's not just about who they voted for in the election. This is a Republican-run state, and these are the results of that Republican leadership. And this is a state run by Democrats, and those are the results of a state run by Democrats. And if you look at other red states, you'll find the same exact low-quality outcomes you see here. And if you look at other substantially blue states like Massachusetts, you'll see similar outcomes to what you see there, because Democratic policies work and Republican policies don't. Because
hold on.
Republican policies go, I don't want to spend any money on anything. We're just going to hope it all works out. It doesn't. And Democratic places go, we need to spend money on basic infrastructure to support people. And what do you know? That works out.
You know what's interesting? I was telling somebody that one day, and they was like, but the conservative states, they handle their budgets better. And I was like, they don't spend the money because they don't give a shit about the people. They're going to spend it on whatever they want to spend it on. At least the blue states is investing into like education and things of that nature. The red states, what the hell are y'all? Y'all just want to hoard all the money for doomsday? Spend it on something that's going to help the lives of the people who live in there. Are the top 10 underperforming states in education here in the United States red states or blue states? I'm pretty sure maybe one may be Democratic, but I'm sure it's going to be red, bro. Short answer, by most recent broad measures, the bottom 10 states tend to be mostly Republican-leaning red states, because it's a bunch of dummies who are literally only focused on hating other people, and they don't spend much on actually educating themselves and expanding their horizons, with sometimes one or two Democratic-leaning states mixed in. How underperforming is usually measured. Most media and policy discussions use composite education level / quality rankings that combine things like adult educational attainment shared with high school, some college, bachelor's or higher, K-12 quality indicators, test scores, graduation rates, school funding, whatever. But here we go. We got one Democratic state in the mix, New Mexico, but the rest of them are, well, I'm sorry, we got two of them. Nevada, right? We got Texas, we got Alabama, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, West Virginia. All states you would assume got a bunch of rednecks in. Straight up.
The Oklahoma governor just announced a new program for his public schools called Classroom to Careers, which sounds great, doesn't it? Except here's how it's going to work. If you want to graduate high school in Oklahoma, the only way that you can qualify to graduate is if you, 1, get accepted into a university, 2, if you can't get accepted into a university or can't afford to go to a university, you have to get into a trade school or a technical college. And if you don't want to do that or cannot do that either, compulsory military enlistment. Ask me if there are any exceptions for students with special needs in this program currently. No, there are not. If you're sitting there thinking, what's wrong with you? I don't understand the problem with this. This is just preparing students for their future and make sure that they have a job when they graduate high school. You need to step back and think about some of the implications that a program like this brings along with it. You want your kid to get into a university so they can qualify for graduation? Oh, but you can't afford it? Too bad. There's no FAFSA anymore. There's no Pell Grants anymore. There are no opportunities for your child to be afforded some kind of financial assistance now that the Department of Education is gone. You have a kid that's bright, hardworking, smart, well-deserved of a college education and can't afford it. That's too bad. Their next option is trade school or technical school. You know what? Acceptance into trade school and technical school isn't free either. You can't afford that either. Too bad, so sad. I guess your kid is going to be in the Navy now. All those children that do not have the capacity to do any of those things, what about them? Something about that smells like institutionalization and forced labor to me. What if your kid wants to be an independent artist or musician or go to Hollywood to try and make it in movies or television or be an entrepreneur with a little bit of money they saved up? All of that is off the table unless you're a 1%er. School choice, parental rights, all that's a myth to earn your vote. They lied to you.
As somebody who lives in a red state, let me just tell you what MAGA supermajorities get you. We're 50th in education, the worst in the whole country for women to live. We're poorer, worst health care. And if you look at the bottom 10 states in the United States of America, they are all MAGA supermajorities. These policies hurt people. They use people's faith to lure them in and say, oh, we're family values, but then they don't vote to help women have children. They don't vote for health care. They don't vote for child care. They demean the poor. I live in a red state where policies, Oklahoma, and these policies have horrifically impacted people in rural America that vote for this very party because they weaponize their faith and lure them in.
But guess what, though? That's what they've always done, bro. In a couple of videos, probably last month, I was telling y'all about the discovery doctrine, right? It basically taught white people that, basically brainwashed them with Christianity and told them that it's God, then them, then everything else underneath them. So even still today, all you got to do is throw God in the picture. And for the ones who can't think for themselves, you're going to get their vote. It's really it's that simple.
So Senator Mark Wayne Mullins posted this picture on X saying, God bless the great state of Oklahoma, because, you know, every county, as you can see, voted for Donald Trump. So because of that, let's compare two states that voted unanimously, one being Oklahoma, that he said was this great state because they voted for Trump, and the other one being Massachusetts. First, let's compare Oklahoma. 44th in education, wow, 49th in healthcare, 44th in quality of life, and 50th in test scores. Top 10 worst in poverty. Wow, seems like a great state to live in. Next, we have Massachusetts. First in education, second in healthcare, first in quality of life, and first in test scores. Top 10 least in poverty. Seems like a pretty terrible state, honestly. I don't care about any of these stats right here. I don't want any of this. I just want a terrible life and to be in a cult and to hate immigrants at the same time. And just
don't forget blacks, dude.
People in general. I'll take Oklahoma.
There are white people going viral right now for their regret over voting for Donald Trump. And I put that word into heavy quotation marks because I genuinely question if they even know what the word regret means. One woman in particular got on TikTok crying a whole theatrical production about how people are not greeting her with open arms, how they're being mean to her in her comment section. Lady, are you fucking for real? Somehow you are the victim, not the millions of people harmed by the very system that you voted to prop up not once, not twice, but 3 fucking times. Not the immigrants who lost their family members to deportation or concentration camps. Not the communities of color who have been terrorized by the very policies that you voted to enable. You're the victim because people were mean to you in your comment section. And this tells me everything I need to know about your regret. You're not sorry. You're uncomfortable and you're confusing the two. You claim that you're doing the work, yet at the first sign that that work becomes difficult, you make videos crying to garner sympathy for yourself. So the emotional labor falls on everyone else again. And then to make it worse, there's a whole slew of people in her comment sections coddling her. Oh, you're such a good girl because you realize that you made a mistake by voting for him 3 times. It's so brave of you to speak up. Then some of you have the fucking audacity to police how other people respond to this video. Specifically, the people that MAGA spent years targeting. People of color, the LGBTQ community, immigrants. You want them to welcome ex-MAGA with open arms. You want them to perform forgiveness for
bro, we need to really just throw the whole state of Oklahoma away damn near probably.
your comfort. The people that we should all have sympathy for are the ones who have been harmed, not the ones who do the harming and are now sad because everyone remembers. But here's the part that really gets me. Same crying video. She said she won't be voting in future elections. So instead of working to dismantle the oppressive system that you helped build, your solution is to throw your hands up and do nothing but cry online. That is not remorse. That is not doing the work. That's pandering for likes and comments to appease your praise kink. That's demanding forgiveness without actually earning it. Look, if people want to coddle ex-MAGA voters, that's your prerogative. Nobody can stop you for handing out participation trophies. But if you are an alleged regretful MAGA, do not expect anyone to forgive you. Do not expect a warm welcome. Do not expect marginalized communities to throw you a fucking parade. Do the fucking difficult work. Sit with your discomfort. Sit with the fact that people are rightfully angry at you. And sit with the fact that your regret doesn't undo any of the damage that you caused. The only way you will maybe, and that's a big if, be welcomed back into a society that is rightfully skeptical of you is if you spend the rest of your life proving that you are worth redemption. That means voting for progressive candidates who actually want to help people. That means showing up to protests. That means putting your fucking body on the line. That means doing the hard work even when nobody is clapping for you. Otherwise, save your fucking tears and go cry about it in your journal.
Ooh-wee. Hey man, let's get into these comments, man. True story. My stepdad was taken off life support and my mom had the nerve to say he would love it if you would vote for Trump. I said that will never happen. Get over it. The raindrop doesn't think is responsible for the flood. I will never forgive them. That is crazy. That's a bar though. The raindrop never thinks they're responsible for the flood. She also said she would still never vote blue. Yeah, this is crazy, dog. Guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. That's the end.
Hype me up. Hype me up.
Y'all know I need that, man. Let's be real. Y'all be cool.